Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Jim Reads Too Slow. I'm Jim, and I'm going to do a March Mystery Madness Week 3 wrap-up video. And then I'm going to follow that up with a book haul video. So I'm going to jump right in, save as much time as possible here. Week 3, I read Agatha Christie's The Secret Adversary. Now this is Christie's second published novel. It is the one in which she introduces the characters Tommy and Tuppence. They're featured in just a few other of her novels and a book of short stories. This particular book, it's the story of a search for a young American girl who was on the Lusitania when it was torpedoed during World War I. As it's going down, this girl is approached by an American agent who gives her a packet of papers. And then he tells her what to do with the papers if he doesn't see her again, because they're really important, and he understands that the women and children get first dibs on the lifeboats, which is how it turns out. He doesn't make it, but she does. But she immediately disappears along with the papers. We're not told anything about these papers other than that they're a draft treaty between Great Britain and some other country. The war ends and they seem to have lost all importance. Okay, jump to Tommy and Tuppence. They're old friends who get back together again sometime later, 4 years later, let's say. The war's over. They're both broke. They have no prospects of finding work. And at dinner one night, Tuppence suggests that they form the Young Adventurers Limited, kind of a private detective agency. And someone overhears them. This man, after Tuppence leaves the restaurant, pulls her aside and offers her a job. That kind of falls through, but then they begin working with this shadowy, maybe government operative who Tommy recognizes from the intelligence services during the war, and they thus begin their adventure. We follow Tommy and Tuppence as they try to find Jane Finn, who is this American girl, the survivor of the sinking of the Lusitania, and the papers that were given to her. Because now we learn that if these papers turn up and they fall into the wrong hands, the British government will fall. So we follow the adventures of Tommy and Tuppence and their friends as they chase down clues and nearly get themselves killed. There's an organized crime kingpin, a Mr. Brown, kind of a Kaiser Sose type character, who no one knows. No one knows who he is, but everyone is deathly afraid of him. And then there are Bolsheviks who are planning a communist revolution in Britain. Tommy and Tuppence are, they're both fun and entertaining, but they're so amateurish. They're such ninnies that along the way it seems like they'll befriend anyone and spill the whole story. Anyone who's kind to them, who offers them any kind of help, they take them into their confidence, tell them the whole story, and take them on as fellow detectives. They do this with this shadowy government figure who may or may not be with the government. A famous lawyer and a Sherlock Holmes type. They do this with him. He's a crime expert. This big goofy American who shows up out of nowhere, claims he's Jane Finn's cousin. He's brought on board. It's nuts. They're just two plucky, never say die, crazy fun kids. There are at least a couple of twists that are kind of fun. It is an entertaining story. I will say that. Again, I enjoyed it. I recommend it. Christie has, like I say, 3 or 4, maybe 5 more Tommy and Tuppence novels that I wouldn't mind looking into. My wife has them, and so I'll probably end up reading them myself. I finished that, And then I moved on to this Dashiell Hammett, The Thin Man. This is the story of the murder of an inventor's secretary. And Nick and Nora Charles are, Nick is a retired private detective who is dragged kicking and screaming back into the business on a visit to New York when all of this kind of happens, and people that he knows, they're all kind of old friends. They're the leisure class, I guess they're called. They're always partying. They're drinking a lot, and all of the people, or a good number of the people who he hangs out with, are involved with the inventor and his family. Interesting fact: Nick Charles is not the Thin Man. The inventor is referred to as the Thin Man, but people got so people took him to be the Thin Man so solidly, I guess, that from then on he became the Thin Man. Anyway, I'm about a third of the way through that. We'll see how that turns out. It's a fun book. It's also kind of comedic in places. It doesn't take itself too seriously, and Hammett is supposed to be one of the best of the crime fiction novelists. So we'll see how that turns out. Anyway, that is I'll be finishing that this week, week 4, and then I may go into The Lime Twig by John Hawkes. I don't know. That's kind of a plan right now. And then we have the better part of a 5th week to wrap up the month, and we'll see what I can do with that. I may do a Georges Simenon if I can read an entire book during that period. They're short. I should be able to. Who knows? So that is my March Mystery Madness. Week 3 wrap up. I'll come at you again with another video about week 4 next week. And now I'm going to move on to my book haul. I took last Thursday and Friday off. My wife is a school lunch lady, so she had last week, Monday through Friday, off as spring break at her school. So she got a total of like 9 days vacation time. So I thought I'd join her for 2 of the days that I usually am at work. We could kind of hang out together. So I took Thursday and Friday off, and we made the decision that we were going to visit the town's Goodwill stores and Salvation Army thrift stores and see if we could find any books. It has not turned out well for us recently, mainly because we go on Saturdays when the stores are packed. But we figured that maybe a couple of weekdays, we'd get lucky, and we did. So I'll jump into those. I picked up this one, The Essential Tales and Poems, I don't know, read that better, of Edgar Allan Poe. Got this for 97 cents. It's a nice hardback, really decent shape, Barnes & Noble edition. This is going to come in handy during Horror MAYhem in the month of May. It's going to be a month of reading short horror works. And it's an event organized by the Bookish Bryants, of course. I'm really looking forward to that, and I got something to start with. So along with that one, I picked up Blue Highways by William Least Heat Moon. We see the $6.99 half-price book sticker on there. I got this for 97 cents. I have always wanted to read this book. or I've wanted to read it for a long time anyway. But I was never able to find anything better than just a really, busted up mass market paperback. But this is in decent shape. We'll see if I can get into this. Looking forward to it. Okay, now on to Goodwill. Goodwill pricing here in town is a flat 99 cents for paperbacks and $1.99 for hardback books. But it kind of depends on the store. If you get a lot of paperbacks and throw in one hardback, you might get them all for 99 cents. And that happened a couple of times for me. I found this also a very excellent copy, really good shape. Joan Didion's The Year of Magical Thinking. Her memoir about the year following the untimely death of her husband. My daughter read this. She enjoyed it, but the only thing she said, she kept having to take a little time off from it because it got a little intense. But I'm looking forward to reading this. Then I got a couple of graphic novels. Somebody dumped off a bunch of their comic books and graphic novels at the one Goodwill that I went to. So I picked up Tank Girl. This is the first volume of, I think, like a six volume set of Tank Girl comics. So I'll be enjoying that. And then look at this. Wonder Woman and Conan. I don't know what the true comics fans think of this one, but come on. It's Wonder Woman and Conan. Got it for $1. You can't pass something like that up. And look at some of this artwork. Man. There we go. Beautiful, full color. Got Wonder Woman chained to the wall and Conan helping her out. They're having adventures. Wonder Woman and Conan. So I'm going to look forward to reading that. I got 2 Elric novels at a Goodwill. This is 3 novels right here. This is volume 1, part 1, which includes Elric of Melnimene, The Sailor on the Seas of Fate, and The Weird of the White Wolf. So I've read the first one. We'll get into the next 2, and then I'll have the first 3 Elric novels read. Also got this one. This is also an Elric. I don't know where this falls in the saga. I'm not super into it. Nice hardback, but we'll read that too. I found a nice. All these books are in great shape. This Steinbeck. It's a nice hardback. Got a $7.99 half-price book sticker on there. Paid $2 for this one. It includes Tortilla Flat and Of Mice and Men. So I love me some John Steinbeck. We'll find a good place for that. Going to add to my poetry collection with this Essential Rumi. I don't know anything about this volume. I know it's the Essential Rumi translated by Coleman Barks, and I know there is a Penguin Classic by the same title. This also is by HarperCollins, so maybe it's the same book. I don't know. If anybody does know, let me know. I'm going to be delving into this. I haven't read a lot of Rumi, but I was really affected by one of his poems, and I would definitely like to read more. So this may be a good introduction. Along with that, I picked up The Sufis by Idris Shah. So we'll get a delve into the Sufi tradition, learn about that. And then the last of the Goodwill books, I got this. Look at that. Look how big that is. Brick. Big doorstop. Norton Anthology of Short Fiction. This is 7th edition. 2006, I believe, is the 2006 is the latest copyright for this one. I love. There's a great selection of short stories in this. I'm a sucker for these. Anytime I find one that's in decent shape, I'll get it. And this is in pretty good shape. So these next four I picked up at two of my favorite bookstores here in town, and a third store that I just discovered that promises to become one of my favorites. I know I definitely will be going back. The first one was John Hawke's Second Skin, his 6th novel. This is going to be part of a little project that I've gotten myself started on. I won't be reading this right away, but it's definitely on the list. It's coming up. When my wife and I moved here about 13 years ago, one of the ways that we had of kind of trimming down all of our stuff so that we didn't have quite so much to move was to get rid of a lot of our books. Yeah, it was heartbreaking, but at the time we felt that it was the right thing to do. And I ended up getting rid of books that I really wanted to keep, including my Richard Brautigan collection, which, maybe I'll still find it around here somewhere, but I haven't yet. So I've started keeping my eyes peeled for Brautigan books, and I found this one, The Abortion. Interesting story about a library for unpublishable manuscripts and some of the people associated with that. And then The Hawkline Monster, a Gothic Western, which I just may put into play during Michael K. Vaughan's upcoming June on the Range event. It's all the details for that event have not yet been hammered out, but it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'll put a link down below to a video of his where he mentions it. A couple of quick guidelines, but I'm sure there'll be more coming. That's going to be fun, a lot of fun. Look at this hippie. Yeah. Richard Brautigan, The Hawkline Monster, a Gothic Western. That's going to be a fun read. And then the last one, I got a Gene Wolfe book, The Fifth Head of Cerberus. I know nothing at all about this book. I found it on Saturday, and it was the Gene Wolfe part that caught my eye. I've heard him spoken of in hushed, reverent tones here on BookTube. And there's a nice blurb from Ursula K. Le Guin there on the cover. It's a book that includes 3 novellas, the first of which is entitled The Fifth Head of Cerberus. Any of you who have read this, please let me know what you thought of it. I'm definitely going to be reading it, but let me know what to look for. So there you have it. And now I have to find a place for all of these books. That is my book haul saga and my March Mystery Madness Week 3 wrap-up. Like I said, I'll come at you again next week with a Week 4 wrap-up and, about how this week turned out. And then I may move on to some other interesting mysteries. We'll see. Anyway, until next time, have a good one, BookTube.